What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Beat the Bookie show. Today is Tuesday, February the 20th. We are on the cusp of the Mexico Open down at Vidana, down in Mexico. And man, it's going to be a different week this week. We don't have John Rahm in the field. You know, last year, all everybody's talking about is how low is John Rahm going to go and how bad is he going to beat everybody else. This year, you know, what's the word on the street for the tournament this year, Rob?
Puerto Vallarta. So this is a fun destination for the PGA players, as you know, guys can have some fun in Puerto Vallarta. It's very beautiful, nice course. The resort they have this on, actually, I've been there. It's very nice. So it's a nice vacation. So I can see why Tony Finau wants to go down annually, take his family and stuff. It's a very nice course. And, they lengthened it a few years ago by like 150 yards, I think, so they could host some PGA events. And they've done a good job. I mean, it's been a score fest the last few years, but it's definitely a great tournament. And like we've seen two of the best golfers, John Rahm and Tony Finau, win it the past couple of years. And it's a fun tournament. It's a bomber's paradise, as they say. So it favors guys who are good off the tee. And we see guys do good in this tournament, whereas they don't really do well in like a lot of PGA events on like the mainland, for example. So I think there's a lot of value in the odds this week. And when the tournament first came out, I wasn't sure last week if I really wanted to do it because golf gets kind of a grind to do every week. But I looked over last year's results, and I love this course. You know, there's a lot of value on guys, top 20s. So hoping we can get some nice cashes. I like a few outrights also from some dogs. So I think it's going to be a fun tournament, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it for sure. You know, the field is not as – it's a little bit more lackluster than last week at the Genesis. But, you know, these guys are the best golfers in the world. It's going to be an incredible field, an incredible tournament as always. If I had to guess, I hope it comes down to the wire like it did last year. I think it's going to be good. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the odds. You know, we've got, winners, first round leaders and whatnot. What are some that are jumping out to you for the outright leader?
Well, I just did talk about Patrick Cantlay last week on the pod for the first round leader. Unfortunately, I didn't play him individually myself on the client card, but a lot of people messaged me, said they listened to the show and they played him off the show. So congrats to guys who cashed. And then congrats to those who cashed Matsuyama last week, like 150-1 heading into the final round. Some pretty sweet tickets. This week, we've got, Tony Finau, the outright, leader, plus 800. Nikolai Hogard, plus 1,600. Steven Yeager, plus 2,200. Keith Mitchell, 22-1. Thomas Dietrich, 25-1. Emiliano Grillo, 25-1. Taylor Pendrith, who a lot of people are high on, 25-1. Patrick Rogers, 35-1. Eric Van Rooyen, 35-1. And down the list. That's about as far as we'll go down. But certainly not a deep field. I mean, there's a lot of good golfers here.
It's not a star-studded field, I guess is the right word.
It's definitely not a star-studded field. It's probably one of the weaker fields we'll see on tour this season, but it'll still be a quality event. I mean, the scenery here is great. So I always like those events that are like around the beach area, so there's lots of good looking scenery and stuff like that. So it'll be a pretty enjoyable event. This event actually they have like a zip line kind of that goes around the course with the ski lifts kind of.
Oh yeah.
So it takes people all around. So a guy will be golfing, you'll randomly see like a ski lift going by in the back with people riding on. So it's an interesting tournament.
At a tournament on stateside.
Interesting tournament. And like I said, we've got Tony Finau as the favorite. And Tony, he won this last year. He got second in 2022. So obviously his track record for this course is spectacular. But he's the dead nuts favorite, right? So aside from Tony, where are you going to go from there?
You're not getting much value on Tony Finau.
You're not. And then you got Thomas Dietrich. So you got Emiliano Emiliano Grillo, who got 5th place here last year. He's coming in, having a decent season so far. He's got 2 top 20 as a 22nd, and he finished 44th at the Genesis. And then you talked about Patrick Rogers. He's got 10th place finish here the last 2 years. He's kind of having a tough season. He got 9th at the Farmers, 79th at Pebble Beach, and he missed the cut at the Genesis. But, for this course, if you're looking for a golfer to play, I really suggest throwing out any of the season's results that you've seen so far, right? We've had like 5 tournaments. Don't look at a guy. This is like a horses for courses kind of place. So don't look for what a guy's done this season. If a guy has had a bad start to the season, don't get dissuaded from playing him here, because this is a course where, a lot of guys historically break out of their funk and play well. For example, Cameron Champ, right? I'm high on Cameron Champ here. He's missed the cut all 3 events this season, right? He's having in all accounts, a terrible season, obviously. He's missed 3 cuts out of 3 events, but he did get 8th here last year, 6th the year before. And like I said, this course favors the drivers, and Cameron, he's 2nd off the tee for strokes gained off the tee. So he's one of the best drivers on tour. So here, if you're one of the best drivers and you have a decent iron game, it almost doesn't really even matter how your putting game is, right? You're going to play well here. So I like Cameron Champ here. I think there's a lot of value for him, especially for top 20, even top 40. Like you said, like minus 140.
Top 40.
For top 40, his track record here is spectacular. So I'll be taking a look at that. But this is a week where you have to get down in the weeds and find some golfers with, the lesser names. And, if you look at Cameron Champ's track record, his career, if you look at his victories throughout his career, they've come seemingly out of nowhere, right? Like he's been playing terrible and then he just wins an event. So if there's one place where that could happen, I definitely think it's here in Mexico. So I'm definitely high on Cameron Champ this week.
Yeah, Cameron Champ, Rogers, you touched on him a little bit there. We were talking a little bit before the show. He's had back-to-back top 10 finishes here. He's started off the season with 2 top 25s. I believe he had a 70th or 79th at Pebble Beach, and then missed the cut at the Genesis. But he also got a top 10 at the Farmers. Patrick Rogers, man, he has had my eye all week. Minus 110 for top 40. I think there's great value there, especially with it, like you said, this course track record, it plays such a big part when you're capping it. I mean, I love Patrick Rogers top 40 this week. Minus 110. I think you're getting great value for a guy that's got a proven track record at this course. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, and Patrick Rogers, when he gets hot, he's very streaky throughout his career. So Patrick Rogers will definitely be one of the most bet guys this week. So like I said, you want to look for a guy this week who is, very good off the tee, obviously. And John Rahm, Tony Finau, the 2 past winners, they're both great off the tee. So, if you're going to bet a guy here, look for a guy who's in the top 20, top 25 off the tee. Putting doesn't really matter as much here. And that's especially good for a guy like Tony Finau right now. Like Tony Finau's 8th off the tee right now. He's 1st on strokes gained on the approach. And then he's 106th in the PGA right now in putting. So this is good news for a guy like Tony Finau, who's been struggling with the putter coming into here. Maybe he can, string something together and come out with a back-to-back victory. But yeah, guys, make sure, first and foremost, if you're looking at any models, look for a guy who's good off the tee. In the past, I've used Data Golf a lot for golf. But I talked to, a few friends called me, and they started this site called Bet the Number Golf, and I've been using it this season. I like it much better than Data Golf, and it works very well. So
Data Golf, man, been a staple forever. So what was the name of that one again?
It's called Bet the Number Golf.
Bet the Number Golf.
It's much simpler to look at than Data Golf. It's not really as confusing. But they have a they have a partnership with PGA ShotLink.
This is nice.
The site's
the website.
It's in beta. I think it's in beta. It's still rolling out. Eventually, I'll have like a sign-up code to give people so they can get a discount. But that's what I've been using for this season. So yeah, I mean, some of the golfers, we obviously, just because Tony Finau is plus 800, I'm not gonna not take him, right? I'm gonna try to get the best number I can on Tony. And with his track record, I mean, it's hard to pass him up here, even at plus 800.
Pretty difficult.
Because he's much. Tony is in a much different class than the rest of these golfers here, right? So I'll definitely still play Tony at plus 800, probably for like a unit. And then, like I said, I'm going to go down and find some drivers. The Cameron Champs, Brandon Wu. Let me look at Brandon Wu. Brandon Wu, he's 45-1 here on DraftKings. He's got third place and a second place his last 2 years here. So he's finishing just behind John Rahm and just behind Tony Finau the last couple of years. He plays this course almost better than anybody.
I mean,
I believe last year, a couple of years ago, he had a chance to win, but he kind of fell apart at the end. But obviously, with his track record, that's a guy who's tough to pass off. So 45-1 there for Brandon Wu, you might want to take a look at.
Yeah, it's got a ton of value.
It does, and there's a lot of golfers here like with a lot of value, and like I said, the guy I really like for a top 40 finish, if you have that, is Cameron Champ, and then for first round leaders, probably look at some of the usual suspects, right? I'm gonna probably take a look at Tony Finau.
I mean, he's end of round one leader plus 2,200.
He has plus 2,200, and Keith Mitchell. When he's hitting that driver well, he's one of the best on tour with those irons. So if Keith Mitchell can really come into his game here, I think he's got potential to win it. And remember, like I said, this is a course where don't worry about how they've started the season, right? This is a place where guys can get their game right. You got Mackenzie Hughes, who watched Nick Taylor win a couple weeks ago at the the Waste Management. So you got a lot of guys here who are capable of winning. For first round leader, yeah, probably sprinkle Tony Finau, Keith Mitchell, and then a guy that I take a lot for first round leader in some of these easier courses is Jonathan Vegas.
Yeah, old Johnny Vegas, man.
He's 60-1 at DraftKings.
So I've got one that I've dabbled across here or stumbled across here. End of round top 5, end of first round top 5. Finau sitting at 5,500 plus 5,500. I mean, last year he started this tournament out with a 65.
Finau?
Yeah, 5,500 top 5 end of round 1.
Yeah, you mean plus 550?
Plus 550. Yeah. Plus 550. I mean, that's unbelievable value, I feel like.
Yeah, that is. I do like some of these.
500, that would be slam it. But no,
yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, I do like some of these top 5 finish, after round 1. The only thing you gotta watch out for is these stupid dead heat rules that DraftKings does, which I hate. But yeah, Tony Finau plus 550, top 5 finish round 1. I mean, that looks pretty good to me. Because you're getting pretty good value there, even if they don't win. So that is a pretty solid bet. So I do like that also. So that's a good call from you there. And you got Charlie Hoffman coming in here.
Streaking, man.
He is. He nearly won the Waste Management, and he played well last week. I mean, he came out hot last week. He did make the cut. I think he got 50th place last week. So Charlie playing back-to-back tournaments. Not sure if he's tired or not, but yeah, he might be worth a top 20 sprinkle. Because he's one of those guys where we're talking about driving distance. He had the longest drive of the Waste Management, right? By like 12 yards or something like that. And that was on hole 72, right? So He's definitely capable. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting tournament, kind of a laid back atmosphere. Not a lot of pressure on guys here. So I
Yeah, I tell
definitely
you,
think it's
I agree. Laid back, your family's on vacation while you're out playing. You're going to eat dinner with them. Nice beach vacation. I'm sure it's awesome. I've got a matchup. I mean, I saw this earlier. Old Finau, man, versus tournament matchup versus Hogard, minus 150. Hogard was 33rd last year at the Mexico Open. He's played all right this season. I mean, I like Finau. Obviously, I like his game a lot more than Hogard. But for some value there, minus 150 on the matchup for the tournament, I like that play a lot.
yeah. Hogard is very streaky, so I mean he can get hot. But obviously I do favor Finau in that matchup. If I was to give out one matchup from this list, I'd give out Patrick Rogers over Davis Thompson. Patrick Rogers minus 120. Like we said, his track record here with back to back top tens here. That's a horses for courses event right there, right? So Patrick Rogers, he likes this course, and I'll take him minus 120 over Davis Thompson for sure. So that's one matchup that I would play for tournament matchups. So you guys can play that for a free play.
I like it.
And we're gonna keep this week nice and short, and short and sweet because it's a lesser tournament. But like I said, if you guys are gonna throw 3 bullets on people to win this week, I would go Tony Finau plus 800. I would go Cameron Champ. Cameron Champ is 50-1. And I would go Brandon Wu, maybe 45-1.
Brandon Wu.
But keep in mind, there's been a lot of long shot winners on the tour this year. And we could easily see a long shot winning on this course.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at a guy who's been playing, decent as of late. Andrew Novak. He got 8th place at the Waste Management. He's a big Miami Hurricanes fan. He goes on the podcast. I go on. My friends play golf with him. He's 110-1 to win. That's a guy who, for first round leader, you also want to take a look at because he's hit first round leader quite a few times. So that's Andrew Novak. He got 49th here last year, and he got 15th in 2022. You could probably get a good value on him for a top 20. And I've seen a lot of people talk about Harry Hall. He's one of the best putters on this type of grass, past Paul or whatever. And if he's hitting his driver straight, he's 65th on tour right now. Strokes gained off the tee, and if he's hitting his driver straight, he could work his way into a top 20 finish. He's finished here he played last year. He got a top 10 finish. So he's definitely familiar with the course. So if you want to go all the way down the list, Andrew Novak, Harry Hall, 110-1, just for a sprinkle, maybe like a lunch money or something like that. And I did say Brandon Wu, not Dylan Wu. So
yes,
make sure you play the right Wu. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun tournament, and hopefully we can maximize some profits this week. But let's not overcomplicate it by talking about a million things. But those are just a few of the plays we like. So my matchup, like I said, I like Patrick Rogers minus 120 over Davis Thompson, and you like
matchup. I like Finau over Hogard. I also like Patrick Rogers top 40 minus 110. And I like Finau top 5 at the end of round 1 plus 550. Those are my go-tos for this week.
Yeah, and if you can play top 40s, I would definitely recommend Cameron Champ minus 140 for a top 40 finish. I'd play that for like 2-3 units because I think that's pretty much a lock. You can throw out his recent form because, like I said, that means nothing for him coming into this tournament. I think this is a place where Cameron comes in knowing, like, listen, I've sucked to start this season, but look at my track record here. I've got 2 top 10s here in 2 years, and
Let's
you
get
know, I
it back
play
in
this
gear.
course very well. So this is the place where I can get my game back in gear. And I think this is the place where he does it. So I'd play like Cameron Champ for 2-3 units, top 40, minus 140.
Love it.
So
Going to be an exciting tournament this week. Again, the Mexico Open down at Valdosta. Is that how you say it? Valdosta?
Vedanta,
Yeah.
the package will be out Wednesday around 6 p.m. and then we'll roll the plays out, you know, through the next few hours after that time. But it's going to be a fun tournament. We've done well here the last couple of years. We had John Rahm to win a couple of years ago, or was it last year? I get confused, but it's going to be it's going to be a fun event. So I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you guys join me. Hopefully we have an outright winner to add to our tally.
Yeah, hopefully it's one of those plus 100 or 100 to 1 guys. That'd be sick. Some good clips for the TikTok off one of those winners.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw last week with Matsuyama, 150 to 1 going into the 4th round. That's super rare. It reminds me of when Justin Thomas came back and won, I think it was the PGA Championship. But yeah, Matsuyama, I had looked on the list of, you know, plays last week, and it wasn't even a guy, you know, I talked about. I played him to win the Waste Management, but he just hasn't been healthy. He hasn't been able to string together a really good run.
Tournament. I mean, it's tough.
We saw him do that last week, and you know, I'm happy for the guy because he's a really nice guy, and I do like him. Like I think he's still 42 to 1 at the Masters right now, so I'm gonna play that.
I can't wait for the Masters, man. Let's go. It's gonna be so fun.
I played him to win the Masters 42 to 1, so you guys want to take a look at that also. But hope you join us for this week's tournament, and we will see you guys next week.
Yep. See you guys next week. BeatinTheBookie.com. Get the packages, and we'll see you guys later.